So during the briefing, you said that you personally have a target of reaching a representation of 40% of women by next year from this year's 35%. Can you give us an idea of how you plan for this to unfold?
Yes, absolutely. That's 40% will be the representation of female in leadership position in my organization, and we are at about 35%. The process of doing that is being intentional in looking for females. So I will not sit into any final candidate interview if there is not at least 2 candidates that are female. So I know that processes are sometimes difficult. The marketplace today has statistically more male than female, but we have to be intentional. So if we look hard enough, we will find the right qualified female. The last thing we want also people to think is that we're hiring female just because they are female. We do not have any female that was hired in any job just because they are female. Well, they were competent and they were qualified and they happen to be female. We are intentionally looking for female because of other attributes and gaps that we want to close by increasing our female representation. So just being intentional and delaying recruiting until we have vetted enough female candidates and making sure that hiring managers across the organization are committed to that. So those are the way we will do.
Why was this so important to Cummins?
Yeah, it is both important and urgent. And why? It is because it's just the biggest reservoir of capability, the biggest reservoir of competence that is underexplored. You're right. There are many causes that we actually go after, many that we could have chosen. We have prioritized this, and as a corporation globally, Cummins has made this probably our most ambitious initiative in terms of corporate responsibility. That's gender equality and gender equity. So in South Africa, as well as elsewhere, we've chosen that because the gap is clear, and the population is available, the qualified people are there, and we can drive it. We also are fortunate to have found, partners in a company like Rise Up that have demonstrated this ability elsewhere around the world and come with, tremendous experience in helping us make things happen in that arena. And finally, I just think it's the right thing to do, So if you go anywhere, anybody that I know, any male or men that I know, has really close relationship with female. Whether it's your mom, you came from a mother, or your spouse, or your friends, or your community, your neighbor, or your daughters, and what have you. I think it's just a natural one for us to go. But there are other reasons to do that, just from some sad statistic that we shared. Quite frankly, in 2020, we shouldn't be talking again about this level of statistic, where 1 female in 3 globally is victim of some form of female, violation or violence. We're talking also about this gender gap in pay that are really, you will hope that we're talking about things that happened 2 centuries ago, at this day and age. And quite frankly, in South Africa, finally, the country has embarked on a number of, initiatives in emancipations. The laws since the end of apartheid are really very progressive. So the regulatory framework is already empowering. Now the reality on the ground still lacks, and that's why our vehicle is to use these social entrepreneurs who are in touch of their communities. We could do a lot of things internally at Cummins. We have criteria, as you mentioned, like internal goal to reach a certain percentage. But really the ripple effect will come from getting the external environment also on board and magnifying the voices of these community organizers or community leaders who can help elevate the fight in their community and overall in the ecosystem.
Now, in your Women Empowerment Partnership with Rise Up, you've earmarked South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria as your starting points in Africa. Will you map the way forward into other countries in the continent who are in desperate need of this kind of collaboration?
Oh, no, absolutely. So the reason we map these 3 countries first, I think Christian alluded to it earlier, is these countries are just strategically located and their economic weight on the continent is significant. So these are really the three biggest economy of this region. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa and in West Africa. South Africa is the most advanced economy in Africa and the biggest, the anchor economy on the continent. And Kenya is the fastest growing, one of the fastest growing economy of the continent and the business hub of East Africa. So we believe that starting in this hub where the landscape is clear, where the business opportunity is relevant, and where the societal issues are really under the spotlight can give us really the impulse that we need to go to all the other. This fight is global, to be honest with you, and as a person in charge of 68 countries, we needed to select and choose, so that we can get some early win, and with the ripple effect, maybe build the momentum and take it to everywhere. The goal is to achieve this globally, and that means in every country, but we need to start somewhere. We need to test and try the partnership and start somewhere and learn from in the process so that we can, the next iteration will probably be, easier than the first one. But these three countries are the best laboratory to start with.